My girlfriend's rape was uploaded to porn site a fight for justice.it was a late night, the kind where the world feels too quiet, and I was lost in my usual routine scrolling through obscure corners of the internet, chasing the raw, unpolished allure of amateur videos. I'd always preferred them over the glossy, overproduced stuff. Then, a thumbnail stopped me cold. A girl who looked eerily like my girlfriend, Chloe, stared back at me. The title? Chloe cheats on BF. My heart gave a lurch. What were the odds? Just a coincidence, I told myself, clicking play with a mix of curiosity and dread. The video started, and something was wrong, horribly wrong. Chloe's eyes darted nervously to the side, her movements sluggish, like she was barely there. Drugged? Maybe. My stomach churned as the man behind the camera asked, "What's your boyfriend's name?" When she murmured my name, the room spun. My hands shook, sweat beading on my forehead. I felt betrayed, terrified. But as the video dragged on, the truth became clear. This wasn't infidelity. This was assault. The man manhandled her limp body, her responses barely coherent. I slammed my laptop shut, bile rising in my throat. I haven't touched porn since. The video had just over 1,000 views, each one a violation that burned in my chest. I reported it to a revenge porn trust, checking obsessively until it was gone a few days later. I scoured the internet, heart pounding, but found no trace of it anywhere else. Relief was fleeting. Chloe's pain was still raw, and so was mine. When I confronted her, she broke down, tears streaming as she recounted that awful day. She'd been lured to a modeling interview by a so-called private agency. They offered her water, and then her memories blurred into fragments answering questions about her age 19, her hometown, her boyfriend. She remembered parts of the assault, enough to haunt her. The shame in her voice gutted me. She'd been afraid I wouldn't believe her, that I'd think she'd willingly stepped into that nightmare. I felt like a failure for not noticing her pain sooner, but her story lit a fire in me. Those predators weren't getting away with this. The only lead was a burner phone number, useless to the police. But I wasn't done. The rage in my gut wouldn't let me sit still. I dove into the dark corners of the internet, the same ones I used to haunt, but now with purpose. I created fake profiles, lurked in forums, and tracked down whispers of similar scams. Chloe, still fragile but fierce, joined me. She remembered a detail. The agency had mentioned a studio in a rundown part of town. That was our starting point. We cross-referenced online posts about shady modeling gigs with local crime reports. A pattern emerged. Other women had been lured with the same promise of private modeling. Some mentioned a man with a scar on his left cheek, a detail Chloe vaguely recalled. I felt like a detective in a gritty noir film, piecing together a puzzle that reeked of evil. We found a name, Marcus Reed, a lowlife with a rap sheet for fraud, but nothing that stuck. He was careful, but not careful enough. I wasn't about to let this monster slip away. Chloe and I hatched a plan, dangerous, but calculated. Using a burner email, I posed as a desperate aspiring model, contacting the agency through a website we'd traced to Reed. I fed them a sob story, dangling just enough bait to get a response. They bit, offering an interview at a sketchy warehouse. My heart raced. This was it. We tipped off the police, but I wasn't leaving it all to them. Chloe insisted on coming, her eyes blazing with a mix of fear and resolve. We rigged a cheap hidden camera, streaming to a cloud server in case things went south. At the warehouse, I played the part of a naive hopeful while Chloe stayed hidden, ready to call for backup. Reed was there, his scarred cheek unmistakable. He handed me a glass of water, smirking. I pretended to sip, my pulse hammering, and stalled with questions about the shoot. The police moved in just as he started, getting impatient, cuffing him and his accomplice before they could bolt. The arrests made headlines. Reed and his crew were linked to dozens of assaults, their agency a front for a sick operation preying on young women. The evidence we'd gathered, Chloe's testimony, my footage, and the paper trail we'd uncovered helped seal their fate. They're facing years behind bars, and the sites hosting their filth are under investigation. Chloe and I are still healing. She's in therapy, reclaiming her strength, and I'm learning to channel my anger into protecting others. We started a blog, sharing our story anonymously to warn others and connect survivors. The shame we both felt has turned into defiance. Those predators thought they could break us, but we broke them instead.